Hi, welcome back to the channel. So this week, just for a bit of a laugh, we are looking at Fruity Loops. And no, I don't mean FL Studio, I mean Fruity Loops. The original, the genesis of what would become a DAW powerhouse. And to run this, I'm using a Windows 98 emulator, or I can run basically any legacy system that you want. I'm choosing to use Windows 98, and that is with an 86 box. I will say also just from the outset that as much as I'd like to help people get this set up, I have absolutely no desire to do so. So even if you're asking the questions, I'm sorry, but it will be a no. And that's just simply because it took me so long to get this working. It was an absolute nightmare with various configurations. My host PC wasn't powerful enough. Despite it being quite powerful, it wasn't enough. And I'm running, this is a Pentium 2 133 with 32 meg of RAM. And even still, that is drawing too much on my host PC. There are various types of sound card emulations you can do, and then Fruity wasn't working, wasn't responding to the sound cards, so it was an absolute nightmare to set up. So I'm sorry to say, you're on your own should you want to set this up. That said, I will say that the Fruity Loops installer is available on the ImageLine website, as long as all the other legacy versions. So should you want to have a go yourself, go ahead, but as I said, you're on your own, sorry. Upon opening 86 box, you're greeted with this lovely 90s teal background. And if we click on our Fruity icon, we see our wonderfully 90s, again, Fruity splash screen with this weird worm coming out. And as you can see here, 1998 was when it was first introduced and brought to the world. So it's a good time to say that despite if I'm being negative or what sounds to be negative comments when I'm talking about it, it absolutely isn't that the case. It must be remembered how old it is, what technology was available at the time, and what it actually went on to be. So I'm not being critical if it sounds that way. So we have it here in all its 4-channel glory. It was designed as a trigger to send output to external hardware. So you can see here in the MIDI settings, you can send the output to internal, which is the music synth, creative music synth, which is how I'm using it, or the MIDI output. So you would set up an external drum machine and trigger it that way. But I'm using the internal sounds. So let's put a kick on every 4 because why not? We're in the peak rave era at the time. So now that we have our kick, well, let's not say kick yet, let's just say 1 on every 4. Play. We have this wonderful, what is it, a rim shot? Now our sound selection, if we click on set, let's just call this kick now while we're here. This would be our external, where we send the external MIDI, but we're not using that. We are using these internal sounds, and this is our lot here. And even then, it's not 128 sounds, because not all of these, so you can see it stops around 90, 80 even. Yeah. And then it starts at around 35. So not many at all, but that's not the point. We're not going to create a banger today. We're going to create just something. Let's go with 43 as our kick. Yes, sweet. Let's bump up the tempo. Let's go 148. You might have heard of a bit of a stutter there as well. That's what I was alluding to at the start when I was saying the PC wasn't strong enough. Apparently emulating a Pentium 2 133 takes quite a bit of processing power. Who would have thought? Let's pick our snare. There we go, that's 1, so 52, let's remember that. Or 49. Let's go 57. We can turn the volume of that down here. Let's now put a open hat in. Every offbeat, let's do like so. Right click to remove one. Call this one open hi-hat. Let's go find an open hi-hat. There we go, that's one. Now go closed hi-hat. Unfortunately, there's no velocity here, so you need to velocity per beat. I mean, or velocity per step. So they're all straight 100% velocity on every step. Unfortunately, let's go find our closed hi-hat. We'll go 70. Let's turn that down a bit. Let's add another channel. Let's make this percussion. I don't know what we're about to choose yet. I don't know what we're about to find. What do we have? I want like a tabla or a conga or something along those lines. That will do, 39. Let's choose him. We want this to be down quite a bit. And now what we can do is a bit of a trick with this one. We can do right click and random. That sounds okay. Let's do copy and let's go to pattern 2 and we're going to paste this, and on this percussion let's right click and do random again. On 3, paste. Let's go to, we're going to take from 1, so we'll do copy and we'll paste that one over. The reason for that is that we get the same percussion loop from 1. And then from 2 we're going to put into 4. Randomize that one. All right, now we have that. Let's click on loop here and play. That's a bit disappointing, actually. I thought that if we do loop, it would go through the different patterns that we created. So, not quite sure what loop does. Let's take it off because it seemed to be working fine before. Oops. So there we have it, Fruity Loops 1 in all its majestic glory. Who would have thought that this would become what Fruity Loops is, or FL Studio is today? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.